Great, let's get started. Hi, everyone. Welcome to this month's Webinar Wednesday with Mint Group. I'm Sageshni Subrian, Head of Marketing, and it's really great to have you all here today. Every month, we gather to explore the latest from Microsoft, dive into industry trends, and talk about how tech can help you and your business stay ahead. We aim to keep these sessions really informative, engaging, and most importantly, useful to you. Today, we're excited to chat about Dynamics 365 Customer Insight Journeys and how it makes connecting with your customers easier and more effective. So if you've ever felt frustrated by fragmented data, time-consuming campaign work, or struggled to personalize content at scale, you are not alone. These challenges can hold back even the best of teams. But with the right tools, those roadblocks can become stepping stones to simplify your work and create marketing that's truly data-driven and impactful. And that's a marketer's dream right there. Remember, we've got a Q&A feature, and it's just here for you to drop in any questions as we go along, and we'll make sure to tackle them either during the session or by the end. I hope you've got a cup of tea or coffee ready. And just a heads up, this webinar is being recorded, so you'll be able to revisit it at any time that you want. But before we dive in, we'd love to get a sense of who's here today. We're going to start with a quick poll. So please take a moment to respond. Thanks again. We're going to have that poll on the screen now. Thanks again for joining us. And I'm going to hand over to Roger, Carrie, and the team, and let's get started.
Thank you, Sagesh, and welcome everybody. The agenda for today is I'm not going to be doing most of the talking. You're going to hear a lot from Carrie, who's on the screen there for you now. A little bit later, I'm going to sort of just set the scene in terms of introducing where this product fits into the wider Microsoft stack. And then Carrie's mainly going to be demonstrating it for you. And then we've got a couple of places where we've implemented this product in our client base. So you'll see Brad and Anthony and Greg and Rob, who are going to come in and basically talk to the work that they've done with this product for our clients. So hopefully that will help kind of make it real for you. So just by way of introductions, just a couple of slides just to kind of lay out the product and where it fits into the stack. I recognize a number of you from the list. So I know some of you know quite a lot about Dynamics. You likely know that the area of, can I say, marketing automation and bulk email has been something that has been solved mainly through third-party products that are add-ons for Dynamics. Many of us have used and implemented Click Dimensions as one of those products. And in 2001, Microsoft actually launched their own product, which was at the time known as Dynamics 365 Marketing. For quite a while before that, they had a product called Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. They still do. What happened in last year was they actually took both of these products and put them together as one bundled product, both from a licensing point of view and from a feature set point of view. And it's now known as Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. And there's two flavors of that. What we're going to be demonstrating today is the Customer Insights Journeys capability. So you'll learn all about that. The Customer Insights data capability, which we won't really focus on too much today, is really about gathering the data that you might need in your CRM from external sources, whether that is for marketing purposes, segmenting campaigns and that kind of thing, or even for other things beyond marketing, so into sales and customer service as well. So, yeah. Next slide there, Carrie. So I just wanted to give you a feel for how this product also fits into the kind of wider ecosystem that is the Microsoft ecosystem. So you'll see that red circle in the middle there is the product we're focusing on. This obviously, for those of you who are not involved with this regularly, and many of you are, Customer Insights forms part of Microsoft Dynamics 365. So that is the brand from Microsoft, the cloud platform that involves all of its business application products. And we talk about the three combined there, sales and customer insights and customer service, as the customer engagement apps. In the old days, we would have talked about CRM. Okay. And then there's a bunch of other apps that are more in the ERP, enterprise resource planning space, which we won't be focusing on today. And then obviously, I'm pretty sure most of you are all running the Microsoft 365 productivity tools for your own personal productivity. And you likely know that Microsoft has integrated all of its business applications very closely into those. This all runs on a low-code platform called the Power Platform. So that is what us as consultants in this space would use to configure it to meet the needs of a particular client. So this is about Power Apps and that suite of products you see at the top right there. Copilot and the AI that Microsoft has bundled into every part of its Microsoft products, thanks to its special relationship, especially with OpenAI, is definitely a feature of this app that we're going to show you today and all of its others as well. So that is worthy of its sort of place right at the very center there of the on the slide. And then you likely know that all of this runs on Microsoft's cloud infrastructure, which is Azure. So from the AI additional services to various infrastructure services we might need for extending this product out, integrating it into other products, dealing with security, all of that is provided in that part of the stack. Okay, so that provides a bit of an overview there. And one more slide, Carrie. And this one really shows we're going to be talking about this marketer role, the second from the left there. That is the tool that we are focusing on and going to demonstrate today. So this is basically the tool that the marketer uses to craft what we'll introduce as customer journeys for you in a second. As I said, there's this data wrangler role using that custom insights data. So that's on the left there. This is the person that might use that product to map, match, merge data from your disparate data sources to be used in the CRM, including in your marketing. And then to the right there is the sales use case, the seller. So we're not focusing on that today, but I wanted to paint the picture for you of how this marketing app forms part of a suite that is really focused on actually all of the different touch points with a customer. So you would typically market to a prospective customer. Your sales team would then take it from there in terms of getting them onboarded into your business. And finally, you would have a customer service agent that you would see on the right there, making sure that that customer's experience is optimal and that they stay for a very long time with your business. So what's special about this marketing automation software is that it forms part of this whole suite of applications and is very tightly integrated with those. So it's different to something like a MailChimp or an Everlytic. I know some of you run that is not part of a CRM suite like this. Okay. So that is a bit of background. Carrie's going to take it from here now in terms of demonstrating this for you. And I think, Sageshni, we've got one more poll, haven't we?
Yes, that's correct. We're going to put that on the screen right now. You should have it.
Right. Okay, Carrie, over to you.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Carrie Garner. I'm a D365 functional consultant at Mint. However, I didn't start my career working in IT, so I want to tell you a little bit about me before we dive into the capabilities. I actually started out as a communications specialist and marketer working in the financial and insurance industry for over 13 years before Roger introduced me to what was then known as D365 marketing. In 2020, I joined a project to roll out that application at the company I was contracting to. Within a year or so, I got so into this product that Roger asked me to join a really big project with another company. And eventually I joined Mint as a permanent fixture and started my career as a D365 functional consultant, specializing in this application. So when I tell you this tool is great, I'm not just saying that. I have firsthand experience as a marketer working in the industry. And with many of the available tools in the market today, I've also burnt my hands a few times there. So I know the roadblocks that I used to hit with those tools. And for me, I really think that D365 CI-J, as we call it, especially in its current form, is really ticking all the boxes with those roadblocks that we hit with other things. So I think also something I want to ask you, along with all these polls and anything else you want to ask near the end of the presentation, is just to think of the roadblocks you hit with your current marketing solutions. And if there's anything you want to ask us about how to overcome that, we can definitely try and answer that for you. So the best way to show you the capabilities in CI-J is to jump into the system. So we're going to jump straight into a journey. We're going to do a live demonstration for you, which is always a little risky in these things. So this is your landing page. Let me just get this off of the screen. This is your landing page in the D365 CI-J environment. And I'm going to jump straight into a journey for you. This is one we've put together for you. CI-J is all about crafting journeys that are a great visual representation of the path your contact will walk based on their interactions with your marketing emails and text messages. So here we've built a scenario of sending a marketing email to an audience, inviting them to a webinar about Copilot. So in the email, we've included, this is the email button over here, we've included a button to register for an online event, and then also a few other call to action buttons as well. We will dive into this detail shortly. I just want to walk you through this. And then you'll see how we use a trigger right after this email to look for an interaction with the buttons. And then this creates a different path for each link click, and then culminates in a trigger looking for event registrations, and then sends contacts down a yes path with reminders for the event. And all the way, there's also a no path to exit. So that's the basic journey we're going to walk through today. And step one in building any customer journey is that it starts with an audience. And with this tool, gone are the days of relying on a data analyst to run complicated SQL queries or manipulate large Excel spreadsheets, because you can create an audience quickly and easily with either a segment or a trigger using either contacts or leads. So here we've started this journey with a segment. And segments can be built to recreate that analytical process that your data analyst would normally do. And through data and criteria, the segment does the work for you. So this is the segment we've launched to start the journey. But before we dive in, I also just want to talk a little bit to triggers. Triggers are also unique to the CI-J application. And you have quite a lot of out-of-the-box triggers available on the system. There's standard and dataverse triggers, things like marketing form submitted or email opened. And then you can also build custom triggers. You'll see a few examples of those later in the journey when we show you some real life scenarios that we've built with clients. And these you build with data fields or interactions or external data even. So we've got some great examples for you to show you that. Both triggers and segments can be used to both start a journey and also used throughout a journey to send contacts down specific paths, include and exclude people throughout the steps. So here's a quick look at the segment we put together for this journey. You can actually click into it from inside the journey here. It's a very simplified one. You can add many, many more fields and layers. You can include and exclude things. Here we're excluding any email bounces. We don't want anybody to be contacted who's had an email bounce. We've just included people who live in Cape Town and Knysna. And then you can also do things like interactions to previous communications or journeys. You can also use the consent, so preference management, and so much more. Basically, any data you have, you can use to build a segment. And once created and live, as this one is, you can click here to look at the members and scroll down. You'll actually see a whole list of members here. This is dummy data, so don't worry. We're not sharing anything other than my own personal Gmail address here. And then you also have this visualization that shows you the segment size and how it shifts and changes. So segments, they're inherently dynamic and they're constantly updating the membership based on that live data that you've put in. So this will move, especially if you've got a lot of movement on your system. Now we're going to have a quick look at a contact record. Okay, sorry, I've got this little thing in the way here. Okay. And this is a contact record. It is, again, my information, so it's safe to share. This is a very simple contact record out the box. There's no customization really been done to this, but you can customize the view for contact records as you need to do that. But then we want to show you some of the really cool out-of-the-box features. The first one is the timeline. This is something that appears in contacts across all the D365 applications, and you can actually see a unified view of activities across the D365 apps. So if you have sales, customer service, CI-J, all the little activities that your contact experiences will sit in that timeline. So things like case updates, phone calls, emails, text messages will all be listed here. The other thing I want to show you is the communication tab. Here is where you keep track of your contact's consent and compliance information to ensure that you're adhering to POPI and GDPR rules. Consent is managed on each channel, and each email address and mobile number is stored, and a record of the consent is tracked against each of these. It's a very, very deep system. So if you opt out, you're opting out on channels. And then there's also an Insights tab. This is going to be very empty because I don't have a lot of communication. I'm going to show you a nice version of this in Analytics, but essentially this is where you can also have your agents, or even you can check the engagement that your contact has gone through the marketing material. All right. Now we're going to dive back into the journey and look at the capabilities built into a journey. All right, there we go. So as we said, we're clicking on the segment tile for you to show you, because you start a journey with a segment or a trigger, and you'll see this menu pop up on the right here. This is where you plan your entry details by specifying things like how you want your segments to behave. So if you want this segment to act statically as a list, sending a once-off email to members listed on the segment today, or if you actually want it to be dynamic, looking to add people to the journey constantly, this is where you do those settings. You can also add an exclusion segment over here. So contacts you don't want to include right from the get-go. Things like inactive or deceased contacts, or maybe private banking clients, or maybe you've got a do not contact list you need to exclude for any sort of marketing. And then you've got your schedule, where you set up your start date and your end date and time. Then we'll stay in the menu here, and I'll quickly show you what the exit looks like. This is the exit menu. It shows the default, which is just that people will exit the journey once they've completed the paths. Like I said, very visual. But we also can set up some alternate exits. You can exit with a trigger. You can exit with a segment. Here we've used a trigger for opportunity created to remove contacts who are already engaged in the sales process. So we no longer need to market to them, particularly in this case, in this scenario. And also with segments, for instance, if you wanted to remove somebody with a segment, it might be that if you've got a number of journeys running and you want to ensure that a contact's not receiving too many emails, you can exclude those who are already in another journey, or join a new segment by listing those segments here, or the created segment with a journey in it and list it here. And then there is a further way you can also limit overloading people, and that's through something called frequency caps. That's over here, also in the menu. And basically, this is something you set up in the settings, and it limits the contacts down to a certain number of commercial emails a month. You'll see as we go through this, transactional emails will always go to clients, but commercial emails, you have a lot of limitations you can set to ensure you don't overload people. And then the last thing I just want to show you inside of this menu item before we dive into the actual journey is you can set a goal for your journeys. This is a really nice marketing aspect of this tool. It's useful for analytics and for marketing teams to see if their journeys and their marketing efforts are working. So we've particularly set a goal here for engage with customers. There's a choice of goals here. So I'll actually just quickly show you. You could do drive a purchase, increase loyalty, onboard new people. And then we've set here that it's a marketing event registration created. This is what we want to see as the goal being met, is if we've marketed well to you, you should register for our event. And we're going to set it at 20% of the people we've emailed. So that's how you set a little goal, and then that'll show up in your analytics if you've achieved it. So that's a nice, simple little thing to show. And then here we go. We're going to dive in. If you want to add actions to your journey, so all of these tiles, as we call them, are added by hitting this plus sign over here. They're actions. I just still call them tiles. You hit the plus button, and here's your menu of all the tiles you could use to build your journey. So as you can see, you can add emails, text messages, push notifications, also other channels. It's custom channels, things that are not native to the tool. That, for instance, you can use for WhatsApp. And then we've got AI-powered actions, so A/B testing and channel optimization. The channel optimization at the moment is basically AI choosing between email, text messages, or push notifications. You choose your items that you want them to choose between, and that's based on how the AI is observing the contact's preference in the system and history of sends and things like that. Okay, and then there are a number of condition tiles over here, the conditions. You've got a wait tile for dates or specific time periods. You've got a wait for trigger tile. That's the one that you use quite a lot for responding to interactions from your audience or updates. You've got an attribute branch. That gives you the option to split the journey based on pieces of data. We've used it for things like home language or age, or maybe there's a kind of a name that you give to a product type or a kind of client that you've got a field for. So you can use the attribute branch for that. Then the two other ones are series. Series sends a literal series of emails until a specific condition is met by the contact. So maybe you're looking for an interaction. As soon as that interaction occurs, they'll pull you out of that series so you don't keep receiving emails. And then there's an audience split tile. And this one gives you the option to split the journey based on a percentage or a number. It's really useful if you want to do something like launch a campaign to a small portion of your audience a few days before an official launch, but you want to make sure everybody's on the same path after that. You can use an audience split. And then you also have activities for phone call and task. I'm going to show you those in the journey. And then finally, you have connectors. So the connectors include an activate a custom trigger. This is used to send contacts to another journey or to trigger a Power Automate flow in the background. We'll show you some samples of those as well that we've used for clients. But just as an aside, for instance, we have used this functionality for a client who had a legacy call center system that wasn't connected to D365. And we used a Power Automate flow to send the email contents and the contact ID for each of the emails to that client's record in the external system so that the call center agents were able to access that information when dealing with clients. So it was a nice little workaround for that challenge. And then we have tiles that create an opportunity and a lead. These are for handing off to a sales team. Okay.
Something went wrong.
Ooh, my Siri's talking to me. Sorry. Now let's see how we use all of these to build the journey. So we're going to dive into the actual journey we built for you. So as you see, we started with the email tile. And over here, you can see there's a sample of your email in the picture over here. And this menu is where you now can also set some, put some settings in for your email. So you can first of all select the email you want to include. And then down here, you set something called quiet times. This is a setting that helps you manage communication within business hours, avoiding weekends, and you can even list things like public holidays so you're not communicating with people on those particular days. We're going to dive into an email near the end of the presentation, so we're not going to go into that right now. Below the email, you'll see an email. This is a wait for trigger tile using an out-of-the-box standard trigger to look for link clicks in the email. So it says email link clicked. Now this one sends the contact down the path of the first link they interact with in your email. So for the no path of this email link click tile, we had a wait for 15 days setting, and then we send the contact a follow-up email over here if they're on the no path. And then for the yes path, you'll see we have a visit our website link. So here's where we took the an attribute tile, and we were able to specify the links that were clicked and send the contact down different paths. And here we have a visit our website link, and we've included a create a task activity. You'll see all the links here. And this one is the one I was talking about from the journey. This is something that you can use to push back a message to the contact owner, which would in most cases maybe be an account manager or an agent or a prospect of sorts, to follow up with their client within 5 days. We've set that 5 days to see if they need any assistance. And then for the contacts, we've stuck a little phone call activity in. So again, you're sending it back to the contact owner. You can change that and use a specific user if you know who this journey is dealing with. And you can send little notes to the person as well to say, please make sure you phone this person. So those are really, really useful tiles to send people in the right directions. Okay, and then you'll see there's no tiles on this join our webinar line. And the reason for that is I wanted to include that particular path so we can track how many contacts click on that link and then compare it with how many people registered for the marketing event. So, but you can really build these things to do whatever you want them to do, as you can see from all the tiles that are available. So now for the join the webinar link over here. This is the marketing event registration created one. Sorry, not for the join the webinar, the marketing registration link. You'll see everything is all the parts are joining that particular branch now. So they merge on this wait for a trigger tile that has been set for marketing event registration created. And on the menu here, on the right-hand side, you can see how you use a trigger, and then you can choose the kind of trigger. So these, again, are out-of-the-box triggers, but we're specifying here in the conditions that we're looking for that particular event. So that's how you use those custom triggers, is by adding conditions to specify specific things that relate to the trigger. Okay. So for those who have registered, it'll pick that up and send them down a yes path. And here we've just set up a basic sort of simple plan of reminder emails timed for specific dates. We've also included a text message to show you a sample of what that looks like. So if we click on that, you can see the text message on the side here. We've set it up to send on InfoBip. It's one of the native text functionalities that are built into the tool. You can use a number of other Microsoft providers for the native features. And then, as I mentioned, you can also, if you have your own SMS provider, put it through as a custom channel. So that's the SMS. And here you also can set some quiet times for those SMSs. So you maybe have different times for SMS. Often people will send SMSs a little later than maybe an email. Okay, so that's really all the information inside the journey. And we keep mentioning this event. So I'm going to pop over now and show you what the event management planning area looks like and offers you. So to get there, you see a little menu down in the bottom here on the left-hand side, and you'll normally click on this event planning space and you'll land in the event area. I've already here opened up our Mint Copilot webinar event for you so that you can see what it looks like. And basically, the event area can be used to plan your events from A to Z. Whether you're holding an on-site event or a webinar, you can manage everything from the registration form, check-ins, managing the capacity, setting up speakers and sessions. Everything can be managed within this space. For online events there, you can make use of the built-in Teams, webinar, live events, and meeting functionality. And a cool feature is you can actually, over here, you can see, you can adjust your settings for the meetings within the event itself. You don't have to do it inside of the meeting. It's the meeting that you get sent. You actually can do it here in the event. And then it's very simple for you to attach these event details into your emails. You'll see when we edit an email just now how easy it is. For on-site events, inside of this tool, you can actually manage your buildings right down to rooms, layouts in the room, and the room capacity. You can link these to your agendas. You can link it to sessions and speakers. So you can really simplify your registration process. The event management space also has this handy business process here at the top of the page that you can basically, it's use like a to-do list to track where you are in your planning, what's been completed, what's been decided, etc. And you can use that process all the way till after the event. And there's even room in the space to manage your event team. You can list your hotels, you can stick your vendor information, you can even track sponsorships and budgets. And out of interest, I just want to mention that we have a colleague who has customized this event planning capability and used it in conjunction with a learning management system to help an accounting firm manage their CPD accreditation process by using this and adjusting and customizing it to be able to schedule training, webinars, online exams, and then to store and score achieved learning goals. So it was a really cool thing that they built. So honestly, this event capability can be customized to help you with so many business needs, not just events, but also things like training. And just want to show you one particular thing here about this is for registration, the event will make use of a default registration form, but you can create your own customized form within the system and then replace this one with that customized form. And forms, much like emails you'll see shortly, have a really easy to edit WYSIWYG drag and drop builder. And you add additional fields, you can add marketing collateral like logos and banners, just waiting for that to load up to show you. And publishing the form is really, really simple because you can publish it as a standalone form or you can embed it on your company website. And then the registrations are tracked against the contact. So you can see on a contact if they've registered for an event. You can also track it in the submissions on the form here on the submissions field or tab. And then there's also form insights and things that you can see in terms of like how many, like the analytics. And there's also an event registration view inside of the event planning area where you can go and check how many registrations you have. We're just waiting for this to load up. Sorry that that's taking a moment. So event registration forms are not the only forms available in the system. I'm just showing you this one because we're doing events. But you can also create marketing forms to collect leads and contacts. We'll show you those in the real life scenarios a little later in the presentation. Sorry, for some reason this is not loading. It always happens with demos. Okay, well, you'll see some really great examples of forms in general a little bit later. So oh, there it is. There we go. So here's the event form. If you click on edit, you'll see that there's a lot that you can do with it over here. There's all sorts of different fields from the data that you can pull in, drag and drop and shift. And then there's all kinds of elements like extra information that you can bring in from the event, the abouts, your sessions, your speakers, and text, images, etc. And there's something that I'm going to point out later about themes. Keep that in mind. Remember that word. Okay, so let's get out of here. I can talk about this all day, as you can tell, but now we need to show you the main attraction of this tool. We're getting in close to the end now as well, but I want to show you the really, really simple email builder. So we're going to pop over to email. Okay, so I have prepped an email already, just because we're a little bit limited. I mean, I can literally do an hour-long session with you just on email building alone. It's that cool. So when you create a new email, you basically have the option to build from a template or from scratch. So you can create your own customized templates and save them. But building from scratch is also very, very simple. So let's run through the different capabilities on this email builder and the features and settings that you set up inside the email itself. So the first one that you generally always do as soon as you've opened up a new email is you set the brand profile. Over here, you'll see this little drop down. We've chosen Mint Coastal Demo. We're going to stick to that. This brand profile is quite a new feature, but it's got really great features. You set it up in the settings beforehand, and here is where you can basically store all your sender information. So if you've got a number of different from and reply to email addresses or sender names, like we've got Mint Marketing over here. You might have a couple of different ones for different brands or different products. You can set up individual brand profiles for each of them. And then when you choose the brand profile, that automatically fills that in for you. The snazziest part of this brand profiles thing is what you can see over here in the themes. We've got a little co-pilot sticking out over here, but we're not going to look at that today. We are right here looking at this lovely color palette, which is a mint color palette that we've preloaded. So you can load up all your colors. Over here, we've got all the text styles set up for the different headings, the paragraphs. We've even specified the way we want the buttons to look when we pull a button into the email. And you can even add a custom font. We haven't done that here, but you can. And I've tested that with other clients. It works really, really well. So all this predefined information, then when you're building and dragging things, it pulls that theme with it. It's actually put that CSS in the HTML of the email file and stored it for you. So it's all set up, and make sure that your branding is compliant right through everything that you build. And the other thing that the brand profile also does is it connects your social media links to any predefined icons or elements like we have done in this footer over here. So if you click on one of these, you'll see in the side here, it's linked to the LinkedIn URL. You'll just see that little personalization. That's actually because the brand profile will fill that in for you. I'll get back to that footer. Don't look at it now. Next, we look at this layout of this email. You've got a number of building blocks available to you. So your building blocks obviously include all sorts of the basic things you'd expect from a WYSIWYG builder. And you can just drag and drop and build very easily. And if you need to add an element to that, you can go ahead and just drag a button. There's our button. And then what's really nice is once you've dragged an item, it opens up a menu where you can now go and edit pretty much everything, all the styling, the branding. So here, there's that set of theme colors that I told you about, all ready for you to use. And then you can also change size, alignment, spacing, all sorts of things very easily from inside of this little menu. And then if there's anything you can't do here, you do have the option to go into the HTML, enter the code, and make adjustments within it. We do encourage that you always build with the builder as a rule. But if you need to specify a font size that's not available or something like that, you can go and make that edit inside the HTML. So yeah, there's a lot to cover, as you can see. And then you also have the ability to save and create content blocks. So if I wanted to, for instance, say I use this kind of layout regularly, you can click on that. You click on the 3 hexagons. And here you can quickly and easily save a content block. You'll see there's a bunch I've already saved over here. And if you need to access those content blocks, you just pop over here. They're all ready for you to go. And it's literally a drag and drop to use it. This footer is a content block that we've already set up, and we dragged and dropped it in to use it. So this is a good example of something that you can do. You also can go in on the menu side here and go and edit those content blocks if you need to. Okay, so now let's talk about this footer, because I know it looks a little strange, but that's because responsiveness is applied to elements in a very simple visual way. So to make sure things stack properly and you don't have to fiddle with your HTML, you build separate mobile-friendly and desktop-friendly elements, and then you mark them in this little responsive design menu over here to either wrap or not wrap, depending on whether it's on desktop or not. And then you can just tick or untick it to show on desktop or show on mobile. So simple, simple. This is the desktop version, and then these 2 little sections down here are our mobile version. And you'll see now when we move into the preview and test how they're working. Okay, we're almost there. Lots and lots to cover. There's so much in this tool. And then this text over here, you'll see that I've added. I didn't actually write that. I used the Copilot content ideas. Super easy to use. You basically just prompt it with some key points, product information, whatever you need. It even has examples up here that you can make use of. And to generate content, you can also click a button over here to say to use your organization's previous emails as an example. So if you want the voice of your organization to be used, or anything to do with the organization's previous emails to sort of be taken into account, you can make sure that's ticked. You hit get ideas, you take a sip of your coffee, You wait a moment, and then it's going to generate a whole bunch of quick, easy versions that we can make use of. And to add that, all you have to do is just hit a little plus sign, and you can add it to anywhere. So I did that earlier with this piece. And we, so that's all sorted out and already done, but it's a simple little thing to do. I found that as a marketer, even though you do have to edit this and check because it's obviously still a young tool, it's still learning, it's a really great shortcut for marketers who are quite jaded at writing the same content about things all the time. So nice for brainstorming or quick basic emails. Excuse me. Okay, now we're going to look at adding personalization, which is also very, very easy. So over here, we've already added first name. And to do any personalization, you just make use of this little drop down over here. It gives you a few suggestions. And then adding dynamic text is as easy as just choosing a relationship and an item and adding it. Excuse me. And you can use personalization for many things. You'll see examples later where we've used personalization to pull information from a trigger as well. So things like product names or premium amounts you can pull with personalization. And then over here in your menu is where you double check that your personalization is all working and fine. And you can see we've got quite a lot of things happening in here. Here's that brand profile info that's pulling through for you, and even some compliance info that's coming through. This is all part of the personalization. Okay, excuse me. Now, one of the most important things I'm sure for a lot of you is compliance. So in the menu, you also double check your compliance profile is set up correctly. We've used Mint Coastal Demo compliance profile. And here's where you set your purpose of your email. Like I said earlier, if you set it as transactional, it's not going to honor certain consents. It's going to go directly to the customer. This is meant for transactional emails like billing, notifications, etc. Commercial should be the one you use for all marketing material. And that's what we're setting this for. Okay. And then we're also going to quickly look at how to add the meeting. So I mentioned this earlier. So we've got a button over here that says join the meeting. So let's pop up and look at that. And you see over here, you can choose many different things to link a button to. You can do URLs, you can do events, Teams meetings, surveys, files, and videos. And we have obviously gone ahead and chosen a Teams meeting because we know that they're going to be invited to this Teams meeting now. There you go. And we've been able to also choose an event and specify that it's a specific event and it's the Mint Copilot webinar. So that now will work to bring that person into the webinar for you. And then a very cool little feature is the QR codes. They're also from the drag and drop menu over here. It's really that simple. And when you edit it much the same as you would any kind of, sorry about that, any kind of link or hyperlink or button. You go ahead and inside of here, you link it to the Teams meeting, the event, specific event, and choose the webinar. Right. So next, we're going to talk quickly about something called conditional content. I think a lot of you will know about dynamic content, I think is the term most people used to use. Here they've built something called conditional content for you to make use of. It is a simple tool to use. I keep saying simple, I know. So if we have a look here, we can see that there's a drop down with default and Neisner. And what we've done is we've put conditions on this particular image with conditional content, which you can enable or disable in this little menu over here. And we've said for default, so anybody who's not from Neisner will get this particular banner, and anybody who is from Neisner using address 1 is city equals Neisner, similar to what we used inside the segment, will get a different picture. But let's say we don't like this picture. We hit replace image, you've got a little touch of Copilot here with suggested images, and then you can go into your library. Now, your library is available on your menu on the side here. It's a fantastic tool. You can load up with everything you need there, but you can also go through an email, add a file, do an upload over here, right from your PC. And you'll see we've got a bunch of different things in here, from icons for social media to logos to banners. You can add videos, you can add files. There's a lot of things you can store here that then get used in emails and journeys. I'm going to change the picture because I don't want that one. I want this one. And there you go. And in your library, you can also use tagging to find things. So you can create keywords and use that to go and find things. There's also some automatic tagging that is also a Copilot or AI feature that has been recently brought out. So once your library gets out of control and there's a lot in it, that tagging will become really useful for finding things. Now we've got a set of conditional content, default and Neisner. What happens is this variation, it's one email, it'll get sent out, and based on your information as a contact you'll be sent the one with the right image. And that variation is showed up in the reporting. So it'll say which variation you received. And as I showed you in the timeline view on the contact, there's actually the ability to see that real email as it was received by the contact. So you can also check if the variations are working there. Now our email is basically ready to go. Everything is set up. So we're going to check the content. We shouldn't get any errors. Great, no errors were found. And now we're going to quickly just check it in the preview. So preview, remember I told you I'd show you how that footer reacts. So here you can check, there's desktop and there's mobile. And that's why we set it up the way we did, so that it reacts correctly for us. And you can just do a basic check here in the preview. You can also edit sample data and add an actual contact to see how it reacts. Here you can also double check your variations, but there is also a capability to use something called Litmus. And here in Litmus, I've already run this email through Outlook to check what it looks like. And you can even open that into a new tab and send that link to your client if you want approval. And then the other way you can also get approvals or test is to use a test send. That test send will trigger to wherever you want to send it to, and it'll basically pitch up in your mailbox looking the way it should look when it is received by your contact. So that's the end of the live demo. We've covered almost everything that you can do. I'm going to jump straight back into the presentation now, so just bear with as I get that right. And we're going to have a quick look at analytics. All right. Roger did warn you that I'd be talking a lot, and this is definitely a lot. So analytics, I want to show you these versions because we had to obviously redact some personal information, and we also just wanted to show you some really good, robust reports and things that we were able to pull. So the first view I want to show you is that within the actual journey, once it's live, this is what a journey will look like live. And on the right-hand side, you'll see all sorts of analytics popping up and collecting. And here you can dive into those analytics for the journey by clicking on that little blue icon over here. Let me just show you. There we go. And that one will then dive into all sorts of sort of insights and things for you. You'll see a screen on that now. You can also go through the actual email itself. So when you go to the email here in the channels and click on the insights of the live email here, it'll show you a really great dashboard. Something to note. Oh, sorry, there's a heat map over here showing whether or not people have clicked and used certain buttons and things. So the heat map is back. And it's great. And this is a really great dashboard to take a screenshot of and send to your client if you, or putting it in reports if you want to sort of report back on how things are doing. All the dashboards are editable at the top in the top right-hand corner, where you can choose different channels, different journeys, different dates, etc. And sort of, isolate certain timeframes or emails on their own. This is what it looks like when you click into the details. So you'll get very, very simple actual data that you can then pull into an Excel spreadsheet, which is you just click on this little link over here and you'll be able to pull it. We have had to redact here. So you do actually have the recipient's email address. You also have the profile link. So you can also from here go into that contact record and have a look at what's going on in there. Then next we've got on the contact record. So remember I showed you that on the contact, but it was empty on that sample. This is a sample of somebody who's being really engaged with quite a lot. And you'll see those analytics are quite useful. Okay. And then there are some really nice dashboards built into the tool where you can look at things from a campaign level. So you've got all sorts of filters at the top here, and you can look at the last year, the last day. It's all sorts of timeframes. You can pick certain journeys. So you may have a number of journeys for one campaign. You may have want to look at maybe a choice of journeys because it's something you just want all the analytics together for. You can choose to look at completed journeys under the status, or maybe ones that are still live, still going. And here's where that journey goal also comes in. If you want to only look at journeys that have not met their goal, so you can do some analytics. That's where you can specify that. This is giving you sort of journey analytics, journeys that have met goals, journeys that have an inflow of people, and that kind of information. For information on your emails in a bigger dashboard, here you can once again also filter with the filters on the top here. You can do multiple selections of text and email and push notification. You can specify a journey that you're looking for those emails, so all the emails in a journey, or you can also, under asset name, just pull a specific text message or email and then pull a report with some numbers as well. And these are all out the box, no changes, just as they are, ready to go. Then this is the Marketing Effectiveness Analytics dashboard. It's relatively new, so we're all still learning how to work with it, but it's a really great tool for marketers, especially because you can do things like set milestones for qualified leads or opportunities created. So this one is really for the marketers who want to track whether or not their marketing is effective and working. And then finally, if you didn't see what you need in our analytics that we've just shown you, you always have the option to make use of Fabric and Power BI. So you can pull the information from your Customer Insights data Customer Insights Journeys data through into Fabric. And from there, you can pull it out and build all sorts of dashboards through Power BI. So that is the analytics. And basically, that is the system. I'm going to hand over now to Brad. Brad is going to show you a real life scenario of something we did for a client.
Thanks, Kerry. I think you have really summed it up very well. And I'm going to try and do as good a job as you did, but just quickly from my background experience, I'm Brad Henning. I've been working on the Dynamics 365 platform for about 7 years now, and then specifically on CI-J in the last 4 years. In the last 2 years, I've been with Mint, where we rolled out the application to a very big insurance company. So what I'm going to just talk through is an example of an acquisition journey that we implemented for our clients. Kerry, if you can go to the next one. So this is a typical example of where the client wanted to engage with leads or existing contacts through their website. So they built a bot which was integrated to Dynamics 365. So you can see in the middle of the page, the bot actually asks, or the D365 form is set up to ask the lead or the contact for further information about their name, their email address, their age, level of education, and then the type of personality. If they clicked on the bot itself, which is Ask Your Money Therapist to diagnose you, it went into a longer stream where a number of questions were asked to the prospective person, and that information, either through the form or through the bot, is then sent through to Dynamics 365, where it is then captured as a lead. As you can see on the lead screen, which is typically what you would look at from a CI-J perspective, you can see that we have pulled through information that has come through from that form, and it started to fill in the details that the person filled out. And in this particular example, we were looking for the different types of money personalities. The reason being is that this was used to trigger off a journey and send communications to the person who filled it out based on their money personality. So when we set up the journey, like Carrie mentioned, you can look at segmentation, or you can look at triggers. This example, we used a trigger. So instead of the data coming directly from a behavioral aspect from a trigger, we actually gathered that data from what was submitted from the form, and we looked at it on the lead form, and we said, based on that, let's trigger off something each time a lead is received into the application, and then look at the different types of money personalities that were received in that particular lead. And I think Carrie showed this earlier on, but this is the example of the journey where the trigger right at the top looks for that money personality, and then it goes down and it waits for 2 minutes, and then what we do is we check the data level, and we say to it, what was the money personality, and then depending on which personality was filled in, it was able to then send it down the various paths. I think we had about 8 paths going there, which each had their own communication. So you can see the numbers that have come through on each of the types of money personalities, and then generally a welcome email was sent to the prospective person lead, and then the journey went through an 8-week cycle where after each week a separate set of communications was sent to the person. Just on the right-hand side, that's giving you a little bit more details around the branches of where it looks at the money personality, and then it would go and decipher what that money personality was that was received, and then based on the results, it would then send the record down into the first welcome email. So yeah, it's a great tool in terms of the ability to be able to set up a trigger very quickly, not reliant on data that you have within the application, but data that's being received from clients or leads, and you're able to then use that data to craft out a journey in a very simple, easy fashion. Thank you.
Cool. Thanks, Gary. Hi, everyone. My name is Gregory Adams. I'm a functional consultant at Mint, and I specialize in Dynamics 365 and Power Platform. Today, Anthony and I will do a quick overview of the campaign management solution that we've implemented for MediClinic. Gary, can you just go to the next slide? So MediClinic previously used Click Dimensions and they integrated that marketing tool with their Dynamics 365 Sales CRM. And they built their forms previously in SharePoint. The form you see on the right-hand side on the website, we've replaced that now with CI-J forms. And now with those submissions, it automatically gets added to the CRM with no leading an integration job. With our Microsoft native integration, it streamlines the processes by removing the need for separate integration jobs. CI-J forms are easy to build, as Carrie has shown early on, and you can link these forms to external websites, or you could use it as a standalone. Carrie, can you get the next slide? Thank you. So with these forms, CI-J provides you with reports that gives you an overview of the form submissions that you can directly see within CRM, eliminating the need for system switching. And Anthony will demonstrate how these forms guides members into their respective journeys using flows. Thank you.
Thanks, Greg. Hi, everyone. My name is Anthony Simons. I'm a senior D365 consultant with the Mint Group, and my experience is across the D365 platform, including Customer Insights Journeys. We've implemented a number of components to target content based on the expected data delivery that is captured by a new mom when she's joining the MediClinic baby program. At the moment, you see in the contact form, it stores all of the personal details of the individual. It'll also store the dates and settings used to determine which email content is delivered. You'll notice on the form, you can see the expected data delivery, the start date, the individual entered the program, and the number of days used to control the email and journey automation. Next slide, please, Carrie. So at the moment, we're highlighting the email designer. It's available to the users to design email messages that display targeted content based on the dates and values stored on the contact record. The email messages will highlight content that's relevant to a specific week. On the next slide, we're highlighting the out-of-the-box native trigger that's available with Customer Insights Journeys. We've used this trigger to automatically add the contact or person to our journey. And then using the journey, we'll be able to control the weekly email delivery. So just highlighting, this is a journey for moms, specifically falling between week 6 and week 21. You'll see within the journey, the trigger that added the individual to the journey. You'll also see the different actions, conditions, performing weights, and sending emails based on those values stored to the contact record. There's a Power Automate process running in the background that automatically updates the values. It looks at today's date, the expected data delivery, updates the contact record, and then the process or journey would send the necessary content tailored to the details available on the person's record. On the next slide, we can just see an individual, how they would move from the journey for week 22 to week 40 to the next journey to control sends on the birth of the new baby. The email marketing campaign really tracks a new mother's pregnancy and baby milestones, ensuring that the content is tailored and delivered at the appropriate stage of her journey. Thanks.
Hello, everybody. I'm Rob Pratt, a Dynamics developer with Mint Group. I just wanted to quickly chat through a requirement that we had at a client, quite a simple one, basically just sending anniversary communication. So slightly different to marketing, but using the CI-J application, we were very quickly able to fulfill this requirement. So the one thing that was really cool is part of the requirement was to use data that we didn't necessarily have available within Dynamics. So by using a custom trigger, we were able to add additional attributes, as you can see there, which we were then able to pull from the third-party application. So we can go on to the next slide, Carrie. So the way we fulfilled this requirement again, we used Flow, which basically looked at, like every day, it pulled data from our data warehouse, and there was a bunch of filter criteria, etc. But again, using those custom attributes within the custom trigger, we could then pass that data into the CI-J journey, and then that data we were then able to pull in to the amazing emails that you can create with this tool as well. Part of that, so there we go. So so you can see there within the email itself, there are those custom attributes that I spoke about, which we added to the trigger. That's it. So Roger.
Yeah, thanks, Rob, and the rest. So maybe just this is the final slide. Hopefully you've seen with these examples of how we've used that journey capability that Carrie demoed for you. We've used it in a couple of different scenarios, and hopefully it's clear to you that in a CRM tool like this, the marketing automation can be at any touch point in your customer's journey with your business. So it's not just about doing marketing to reach new prospects, which is really what's on the left-hand side on the slide around acquisition. This is really to empower the whole journey as that customer starts dealing with your sales team and eventually gets onboarded as a client, becoming a customer and getting customer service for anything they need, service team. And then retention is a workload that we've done for a number of our clients around making sure that clients stay with us. That includes things like product milestones there. We might have a product anniversary, and we want to use the marketing automation to make sure that the customer stays. Cross and upsell is a common term for people around making sure that we have customers that are using as many of our products as possible. And then finally, exit, customers that have indicated that they want to leave or showing a propensity to leave our services. We can make sure that they have a lasting memory of us and hopefully come back by, again, tailored communication that is delivered in the right way at the right moment. Excellent. So that is Dynamics 365 Customer Insights. Thank you very much for everyone for attending. Sorry we went a bit over time, but yeah. Any questions you have that are remaining, do post them there. Got a final poll, Sageshni?
Yeah, you should see it on your screen. Thank you very much, Roger, Carrie, and the team. As marketers, we are always looking at ways to efficiently and effectively reach our customers. We've got on the last slide, if you'd like to attend our last webinar for 2024, I can't believe I'm actually saying this, we will post the link in the chat. This webinar will focus on resilience, balance, mindfulness as we head into the festive season after what most say has been an epically challenging year. So please do join us for that and have a wonderful rest of your day, everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Cheers,
Thank you.
everyone.
Bye-bye.
Thanks,
Thanks,
everyone.
everyone.
Bye-bye.